And I remember, I think I shared with you guys when I went out to Idaho and got to talk to, I chatted with Michael Perry for a little bit about it. And, they used to measure their success on escrows and, contracts and closings, right? That's how they measured success. You earn it this way. Yeah, we have Zillow, we have, the client satisfaction score, we have a couple of those measurements. But he said their whole shift has been focused to the effort side of things. And so just kind of, because now, so that means their agreements have changed. And we'll get into just in a second, kind of where it slides and where we can to really focus. But we have to remember that your team is the secret to sustainable growth. It really is. That includes your life team. And when we focus as leaders, when we focus on their health and their happiness, the revenue will follow. And so that's where, what we have to commit to as leaders is to getting to that point. And Glenn said, damn, he said something that was really good. He said, effectiveness with those around you is what makes you a leader. And so I was like, damn, okay, are we being effective or not? And to me, I always equate that to, are we being productive? Are we getting results? Or are we not? And, that's one of our values. Are we getting the results or not? Or it's, I don't micromanage, and I know you guys don't want to micromanage either. We just got to pay attention to the agreement and really commit to managing that and helping, ourselves and our people be more effective. So really making sure that we're leading ourselves the right way and leading them with their habits, with the calendar. And we have to lead by example with those things. I mean, that's the first rule of leadership, is lead by example. So we have to do those things. And I get it. It's hard as fuck. I mean, it really is. It's not easy. And, sometimes we need the people in our circle, in our life, on our team to, tell us what we need to hear, not what we want to hear, because we all have blind spots. And that's where really appreciating the right people around you. Those are the people that are committed. Those that don't tell you those things, they're probably just being compliant. They're being nice, which is self-serving, so just really listen and pay attention. The biggest thing when we look at our allocation and really making sure that our habits are dialed in is really committed to our working time. What is the time that we're working, and allocating the right amount of time to the activities that drive the results, that drive what we're measuring to be important in this. And remember, right, it's lead generation. It is conversations. It's face-to-face appointments. It's, if you're working with buyers, showing properties, and it's negotiating deals. 70% of your working time has to be on those activities. If not, we're not doing enough of the right habits. And what I would tell all of us, this is, no different, is that our agreements of success have to fall within these buckets. And I would say fall within the buckets that's within their control. And so where is the constraint? Where is the choke point? Where is the bottleneck? Where is the challenge? And understanding the theory of constraints is one of the most important concepts to get. Verne Harnish, who was a great mentor of ours, we worked with Verne. He wrote Mastering the Rockefeller Habits. He was actually, most of you guys know Traction, Gino Wickman, and the whole EOS format. Well, a lot of that is based off of what Verne teaches. And EOS and Traction was actually born in a strategic coach session with Dan Sullivan. And so Verne Harnish's number one book recommendation is called The Goal by Eli Goldratt. And if you're going to dive into it, I would listen to it on Audible because it's in fable format. kind of like Patrick Lencioni writes. They tell the story, they make up these characters, and they kind of go through, their life, and you get the concept. But the concept is theory of constraints. Where is the constraint in the business right now? So let's reverse engineer. And I took Andrew Franklin through this same damn exercise earlier today, because they have constraints. We all have constraints. If you get into the book, The Goal, in the Fable format, there's Herbie. And Herbie's the big, overweight, awkward kid. And he's the constraint. And they talk about on a hike with his kids, where do you place Herbie, right? Does Herbie have too much stuff in his backpack, right? You pay attention to all of those details. But what you have to understand is Herbie is always there somewhere. This is why what we talked about last month was visibility. Putting the dashboards, the visibility, what are you needing to see in order to make the best decisions of where you need to focus your energy and efforts? And so if we're not hitting our escrow number, the number of escrows we need, then we're not taking enough business. We're not getting buyer rep agreements, getting buyers in the car, getting buyers through the door, or we're not taking listings. We're not executing on a listing. Well, if we're not executing on a listing or a buyer through doors, then we're not setting enough appointments. Well, if we're not setting enough appointments, we're not having enough conversations. If we're not having enough conversations, is we're not having enough engagements. And engagements, texts, video texts, DMs, calls. If we're not having enough engagements, then we might not have enough leads. So where is the constraint? So like for us, ours is leads right now. And that's our number one issue. Everything we're doing is to increase leads. So we pay attention to that. Like we want 5 new opportunities in the CRM every day, 5 days a week for 4 weeks. That's 100 new opportunities. We want to build that. Then we're going to build the machine to where it's 10 times 5 times 4. But we have to start somewhere when we know where the constraint is. Okay. And what I would say, and this is another key point that Glenn shared, is that one of the most important cadences that we can get into is the retrospective. And if you guys have embraced the Sunday planning process, yet skate past that part, remember, first part of Sunday planning is acknowledging our wins. And then also, what did we learn this week? What did we learn? Where are we off? What targets did we not hit? If we don't hit the lead target, then that's the retrospective. What's going on there? How come that didn't happen? And guess what my conversation with the team on Monday is? How come we didn't hit it? What did we do wrong? Where is the constraint? We need to fix it. See, our job as leaders, as well as building the team, is removing obstacles for the team. And you can't do that without looking at where the issue is. If we're not getting the escrows, that's not the problem. We have to find out where the problem is. And so at least right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. We're going to track 6 things: escrows, new business, that contract or agreements, buyers through doors, listings taken, number of appointments, how many conversations, number of engagements. If you follow Coach Burt's rule of thumb, is 35 to 45 engagements per day. Every lead needs to be touched 7 to 15 times. I know Joe Hollow with Stasics, when he was driving sales and running Stasics team, theirs was 11 engagements per lead. Had to have at least 11 engagements per lead. And then leads. Got to track that. If I'm tracking those things, and now I want to build my agreement with my people around those things. right? So Kia's on. She's one of our copywriters for the team. So all the awesome content got a lot of it comes from her. So that's designed to help us create engagements. And so, number of engagements, is our content increasing number of engagements? And we track it in measurement. And so is that continuing to grow? Right? With everybody has a number. That's where we have to get to. That's where we have to get to, is being able to track that. And so my challenge, my homework for you all is really revisit those agreements. What is the current measurement of success for yourself? What is the current measurement for your team? Okay. And I'll share Andrew's, is that their agents are not having enough effort engagements, effort metrics. And are we doing the things within our control daily to bring in new revenue to the business? I think I shared with you guys before. I've heard me tell this story. It was the end of 20 and the world was shut down except for Texas and Florida. So we were wanting to get the hell out. And my very dear friend Blake Sloan, he's all about, we're all about the islands, but he's like, where can we go within the states that we could get to? Key West it is. So we were in Key West, and him and I were sitting there and having one of those big old buckets before we headed out. And I said, hey man, what was the most important thing that you've learned or implemented this year that's had the most direct impact with your organization? He goes, daily declarations. Didn't even pause. Daily declarations. I was like, what the hell is a daily declaration? He goes, well, we make the declaration to what we're going to commit for the day. That, I think I even still have the damn note on my board here. I don't see it. I know I got it somewhere, because I stopped him and I started writing down. And he's like, so before 9 a.m., everybody on the team has to message, what are they committed to solving? What do they commit to do for the day that is within their control to get new business that they're going to commit to? And if they do, then they get the win for the day. Well, what he said, what happened is that in order for the team, in order for the company to win, everybody had to get the win. If one person didn't, then the team didn't win for the day, and nobody wanted to let the team down. And it created just this higher level of leadership, higher level of accountability, and really just interactiveness with the organization. So really think about this in this business. What's within your control? You can add, make sure you're getting, leads or contacts or opportunities into the database every day. So what we do, we add 5 new, really could be cold, warm opportunities in the CRM every day. And you look at the people that like, heart, comment on your social media posts. And they live in your market. Or if you're trying to agent attract, are they an agent? Are they in your CRM? Yes or no? If they are not in your CRM, how come they're not in your CRM? And so that's what we started to do, is we're putting those 5 cold, warm people off of people that like, heart, anything that we do on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So that's within our control. Number of engagements, number of dials, number of conversations. Everything has to have a conversation. So I would say one of the most important things is conversations, and then the other is setting appointments. If you guys adopt this, And it takes daily, right? You got to ride them like Shetland ponies, just every day, on them, until it becomes a habit to where they just do it. And then as soon as they do it, they post in there, got the win. And those are the things that are the only things within their control. Now, if somebody comes in and says, I'm taking a listing today, no, you're not. That's not within your control. I hope you do. But that's not within your control, because that appointment could cancel on you. They could reschedule on you. So it has to be things within their control. And what I would, and this goes back to my point with what Michael Perry was saying, is that they moved their agreements of success with their agents to the things that they have to do daily within their control to help them get new business. It's not, maintain or nurture business. It's to get new business. So that's really where I would challenge all of you, especially with your agents and even with yourself. Like, what is my agreement of success? What does that look like? What does it have to be? And so that would be where I would challenge all of you to revisit and relook at those agreements and be able to get those into play with yourself and your team. They've got to adjust as the market adjusts. It changes, it evolves. It's always a work in progress, right? Herbie is always somewhere. The other thing that I would say, just kind of share a couple little things here before we wrap up this evening, is I heard this from Ed Milet, and I fucked this up for a decade plus. I really have, maybe longer than that. I mean, yeah, entire career, business career, work in a leadership position since 97. I've messed this up. And it's just generational, right? How kind of raised, brought up. And we typically push hard on our team when times are challenging. And Ed said that's the wrong thing to do. He said this is where we have to really, like I said earlier, focus on the health and happiness. We have to really listen and be there more when things are tough. Things aren't quite going as well. Knee-jerk reaction is to just press down, be hard, kind of, in their face type of motivation, right? To try to find that motivation within them to, it's the carrot and the stick. And so he said, you don't do that when things are tough. You love on them more. Now, what you're hard on is you're hard on the agreement. That's why we have to nail what is the right agreement for success in this market. And then he said, when things are good, and we're thriving and cash flow's flowing, everybody's making money, he goes, that's when you're hard. And he goes, that's when you're hard as hell on everybody, because that's when they get complacent. And so it's the opposite. And maybe you guys got it right, but I messed it up for a long time. So that was a big get. And so just understanding, we can still be hard on the agreements. We just got to make sure it's the right agreement and the right thing that we're focused on. And what I would challenge everybody is just make sure we're only focused on the things within our control right now. If you guys did not catch today's episode with Expert Mentors Live, make sure you carve out 60 minutes as soon as you can to go back and watch it. It was with Mr. Kyle Whissel and episode 204 of Expert Mentors Live. Kyle did episode 4 with me and finally got him back. Took 200 episodes, but got him back on. And if you guys have ever had an opportunity to connect or listen to Kyle, he's incredible. I mean, he's an incredible dude. He's awesome. He is awesome. I got to see him